Today, we're going to be talking about why the Washington Commanders have taken a step forward despite their most recent loss against the Denver Broncos. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and follow the channel as we talk nothing but Washington Commanders football daily. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it as we are talking about team growth for the Washington Commanders despite their most recent loss to the Denver Broncos. And so, look, going back to last night's game, I thought that this team played its best football. And so I know, it's unfortunate that they came up with the loss. But number one, I think that we are starting to see better complementary football with this team. And what I mean by that is that the special teams is working with the defense, and the defense is working with the offense, and then the coaching is working with the players. Like, it all seems like it's coming together. And so I know that the team is upset with obviously the result there and not winning the game, but you're starting to play back to your standards. And like I was saying in yesterday's post-game video, no matter what happens with the Washington Commanders down the stretch, they need to start playing some good football. And I think that over the last couple weeks, we're starting to see that. And I know that they didn't get the results that they wanted against the Miami Dolphins, but still, everything is starting to trend in the right direction because on offense, you're starting to see that the team is playing a bit more balanced. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a moment, but you're starting to see that. And then defensively, we have saw the turnovers over the last couple weeks. And so that's a good sign. And also, too, you're seeing, a defense that is still very much flying around the football. I love the physicality that we saw in yesterday's game and just coming up and run support and everything else and just making it difficult on other teams. And then the special teams, look, it was great to see the kicker actually knock it through the upright. So, shout out to Jake Moody. I think that was a move that the Washington Commanders probably should have made, some time ago, but it was just great to see that the special teams was showing up. You were able to get field position and everything else. And so, look, I know that this team is on a 7-game losing streak, but I'm impressed with what we saw in last night's game. And I'm impressed with now seeing it the last 2 games. And I'm just hoping that we see that down the stretch in these last 5 games. And so I'm not sure how things are going to play out, as far as just the Washington Commanders getting into the playoffs. I know that is a bit of a stretch right now to get in there. They're not going to finish with a winning record, but man, just playing this type of football, this is what you want to do as far as getting your standards right and building momentum. And so the next thing here as to why the Washington Commanders have taken a step forward is I think that we're starting to see the younger players step up some more too. And so, I know on defense, we got a chance to see a little bit more of Jordan McGee. And so hopefully he can stay healthy and they can continue to run him out there because I think that, look, he is part of your future. And so you have to balance the 2 timelines, which is what Dan Quinn said that he wants to do. I understand that, look, you have to still go out there and win some football games and stuff like that. Like, you want to go for winning. Obviously, this is not going to be a situation where they're going to tank, but you want them to play good football, but you want to put the younger players out there and you want to see what you have because you're always evaluating. And so I love the fact that a guy like Jordan McGee got a chance to play. And also, too, on the offensive side of the ball, Treylon Burks, he is, a high pick in the NFL draft that it really didn't work out. He was supposed to replace A.J. Brown in Tennessee, and it just didn't necessarily work out with the injuries and stuff like that. But I do think that he is really starting to find the spark here with the Washington Commanders. And look, this is what I'm talking about when you're bringing in younger players and you just throw them out there to see what you have here. And so maybe he's a guy that sticks around with the team. I do think that even though the team does have Debo, you have Terry McLaurin, you have Noah Brown coming back, you're still going to need some players outside of them to make some plays. And so, look, he's a young player in this league. He made a great catch against Riley Moss yesterday. And I think that he was really starting to come on before he had to get the finger surgery where he was out against the Miami Dolphins. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him, Jalen Lane. I would love to see Luke McCaffrey if he were healthy. Obviously, he's not, but this is the time that you want to continue to play these younger players and see what you have. And I think that they're doing a great job as far as stepping up. And then next, the next thing here and why the Washington Commanders have taken a step forward is that they're starting to get healthy. And I think that you're starting to see now with Terry McLaurin coming back, and then also too with Will Harris, really the potential of this team. I think that we got a chance to see that this team can really compete with anybody if they're healthy out there. And so I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like once you finally get Noah Brown back. I think that Jaden Daniels is certainly going to be heading back to the Washington Commanders at some point. In fact, one of the updates that we got from Dan Quinn in his presser was that with Jaden Daniels, he's not cleared for the contact just yet. And he said it's all about functional contact with him. And so that means like, stiff arming, diving on the ground and stuff like that. And he said that he's going to, do some individual work and stuff like that, along with what he's doing in practice as far as, throws and all that other stuff. But it sounds like, look, Jaden Daniels is close. And so I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like because, man, if it looks anything like what we saw in last night's game, it is going to be a very exciting finish to the season for the Washington Commanders. Just very pleased with what we saw there. And then next, I think another thing that really kind of jumps out here with just really the way that the Washington Commanders were able to play and just taking a step forward is you just see that this is a team that is very much still together. Like I was very impressed with the fact that, this team could have packed it in. They did not pack it in. And that speaks a lot about this team. And I think that when you go through, a tough stretch like this, and then also too, you get into games like this and you see that the players are still very much in it. They're still very much having fun. They're still very much together. Like that stuff means something, especially when you're trying to build with this team. And so I thought that that's huge. Just seeing that this team is still very much together here. And so, despite the 7-game losing streak, I'm just proud of the way that this team looked yesterday, and I think that they have really taken a step forward despite just a tough season. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking. Like I said, I just feel like that the Washington Commanders are trending in the right direction. We're starting to see some good play here on defense, guys flying around the football. Look, I know that they gave up plays and stuff like that, but look, somebody is going to win and lose on every play, and you cannot win every play. But I think that the defense has certainly tightened it up a lot over the last couple weeks, and so excited to see what they can do. And then offensively, we are seeing a good balance here. And I just love the fact that Cliff Kingsbury led with the running game, and then that opened up space on the outside. So you can imagine what is going to happen once you start to get more of your playmakers back. And so Jaden Daniels, Noah Brown, and then also too, some of these younger receivers continue to step up like Traylon Burks, like a Jalen Lane. And so you still have Bill that very much could be due for a good couple games down the stretch as well. And so anyway, I think that this team is taking a positive step forward. You guys let me know in the comments where you are with this team. And look, as we always say, go Commanders, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.